Hey guys, it's Vera Wylde, and I'm going to address something that I get asked every now and again, usually just in reference to whether or not I do it myself, but I thought that I'd talk about the subject in general, and that is wearing women's undergarments under male clothes, even while you are presenting to the outside world as male. For the most part, I don't do this. It's just never really been my thing, but I know it's a fairly common thing among dressers, especially ones who are more closeted or are just feeling very confined and needing to express themselves and don't have an outlet where they're able to dress more fully. So it is certainly something that you can do, and many people find a great deal of fulfillment from doing it. There are just sort of a couple of general things about it that I just want to address quickly. In terms of wearing a bra, it's kind of exactly what you would think. You need to be slightly cautious as to what you put over it in terms of whether or not it'll be given away that you are wearing a bra. So sort of the big thing would just be to avoid any kind of tight form-fitting or t-shirt kind of situations. A button-down shirt, a slightly loose button-down shirt would work very well. A sweater, obviously. And as for the bra itself, you're probably, if it's something you intend to do regularly, you're probably going to want to have a different bra to wear under male clothes than whatever one you may be using to hold in, breast forms and to give yourself a female silhouette. The reason being that since you are going to be going out and not wanting to give away the fact that you are wearing a bra, you're going to want something that is much more closely fit to your male shape. In other words, a smaller cup. So like what I've got on right now for my breast forms is a 38 double D. If this were something that I were to do, I would want to get a much smaller cup size. Basically something that would just lay flat on my chest more or less. I mean, there can be a slight bump to it, and there probably will be depending on the style of the bra, and that's fine, again, depending on what you put over it. And again, my recommendations that would either be a slightly loose button-down shirt or a sweater. Just avoid t-shirts or anything tight would be the main thing. Now, when it comes to the other piece of undergarments, which is panties, it is not as straightforward as you would think, especially if you're going, say, to a job or something where you're going to be, whatever you put on, you're going to be stuck in for a while. Because I'm going to make the assumption, well, I'll make the assumption that you're probably not going to tuck if you're doing this. Now, if you do tuck, pretty much everything I've said in that video and about what undergarments you need to wear to keep your tuck in place still applies. If you're going to do that, you're probably going to want to be wearing a gaff, and that kind of settles what kind of underwear you would be wearing. If you are not tucking and just wearing the panties, well, then you really want to select very carefully. You want to avoid, well, the sad reality is you're going to probably want to avoid stuff that looks really sexy, because stuff that looks really sexy, it's gonna chafe by the end of the day. It really is, and for a number of reasons. Obviously, anything lacy, I'm basically gonna show you just an example of something not to wear. Something like this looks very cute, looks very fun, and it's got sort of this this lacy bit up along the top. Now, if anything with this sort of lacing type situation that's in the front, avoid that at all costs, because that is going to rub you in a way that is going to chafe and it's going to hurt, and much quicker than you would think. But even sort of beyond the lacing with something like this is pretty, I mean, it's not like G-string or thong, but this is pretty skimpy, especially in the front. It's kind of, given that you don't want to be rubbing right up against the lacing, it's kind of low cut at the top, it's sort of snug in here. This will probably not be something good to wear, because you're gonna pop out of it, basically. And while that's not necessarily an issue in terms of obscenity and being literally exposed, it's just uncomfortable to kind of be sticking out the side of underwear. It's just not a particularly pleasant experience. So regrettably, if you are going to do something like that and you want to wear something for a long period of time during the day, you're probably going to have to go with something a little bit less sexy, a little bit more sort of utilitarian. That said, you can still have some fun with fabrics. Something silky can be very nice, because for a lot of us that is a very feminine feeling fabric, and you can get you know, a silky panty in a style that will not just have things slipping out. I mean, the main thing is going to be, like I said, something with a bit more coverage than this, but also just sort of get a feel for the size of the elastic, how snug that's going to hold in. So those are just sort of my general tips on doing something like that. And by all means, experiment. I would say if you've got a pair that you're not sure how it's going to work, put them on and go out for a short errand, just grocery shopping, or just, you know, to get gas, just something short and simple so you can move in it, get a sense of how it's going to work for you, rather than just getting them and just jumping into like something like going to a job where you're going to be stuck in them all day. So do some test runs before you start doing that sort of thing, because otherwise you're going to find yourself in the middle of the day really uncomfortable, and that's just not a situation any of us want to be in. So I hope you guys found that helpful. If you have any questions or things you want me to address, you can message me on here. You can email me verawylde@gmail.com. I'm on Twitter @VeraWylde. So feel free to reach out to me in any way you want to. And until next time, guys,